On Friday, on Friday, I advise that we do some quick refresher, maybe some 30 minutes be on it.
Okay.
I think is it phaser or?
Yeah, phaser.
He did mention that he has
He was in a meeting, other meeting to attend to.
Yes.
Okay, no problem, because the session will be recorded, so we will start now. So anytime we can just refer to the recorded version. Okay, so now let's go to the platform. I've placed some file there.
Let me see.
Let's go. Let me show you.
Let's go.
How we can see there, I have the string basics and the arithmetic, if you can see.
Like when I log on to my dashboard. Okay. String basic and arithmetic basic.
Yeah. So you download them. Basically, these are what we've covered so far. Okay. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. So let's go to the basics. Now, with the basics, this is basic for arithmetic. Okay. So, but now I expect you to understand this concept. Okay. So we look at the basic arithmetic to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of integers, and floats. Okay. And then we also need to understand compute the modules of two numbers. Okay. And then use the floor division operation to divide two numbers. Okay. But now I know that you should get that.
Yeah.
Then we look.
No, continue.
Then we look at the type convention. So the type convention, we went through convert float to an integer and observe the changes, which convert an integer to a float and also convert a string containing a number into an integer or float. So by now I know we should be able to do that. And then 3, we've also looked at the power and the root. That is to calculate the square and the cube of a number.
That's why we have not done.
We've not done that. We've done with the operation sign, finding the square root of a number, compute powers using. For this one, I've not introduced you to this one. Then we've done this, right?
No, we haven't done anything on root calculation.
We've not done anything on root calculation.
No.
We've not done anything on root calculation.
Yes.
Okay. So for the down part, I know we've not done rounding and all those, the flow, the absolute value. I know we've not done. So let's do quick, then we move on to the next part. Okay. So the quick one, let me open my Tony here. I hope we can see my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen? Hello?
Nope. No, it's yet to come up.
Yet to come up.
Mm. Your screen is not showing. Okay,
Yeah.
I can now see the screen.
Okay, so let's do quick um, understanding of this. Okay, so for the first one, performing addition, multiplication, and all those things. Okay, which we may have, let's say, number. Okay, so for addition, so I will just repeat the same line, which is for subtraction. Then move to mods. Then we look at division. And as we look at the, so we, this one we can talk about the floats and all those things. So it's the same, just to change that part of the value that will differentiate that. So that gives us to the basics of this. Okay. Now we look at the next one is to use the floor division operation and here compute the modulo. So with the modulo, which we already know that the modulo sign, so I will use the mode. So this is for modulo. So I'll just do the same, but then come to mode. And then you change this sign to modulo sign. Okay, and then I'll come here and change this one to modulo. So we have here mode. Okay. And the next point is we looked at the floor division. So my floor division, which also be the same. So change here to the floor division. And then DV. Okay, so this actually walk us through the first part. Okay, so by now I know you understand what this one means. So when you talk about modulo, we are dealing with just the modulo here. We only look at the remainder. Okay, so that is the modulo. So anytime you hear modulo, you are looking at the remainder. And then here we look at the integer part, the floor division. Always look at the integer part. So we look at the integer. So that is the basics of what we actually did. Now we look at the type conversion, where we can convert one data type to another. So if I run this code here, basically it will just go through. Okay, so I need to check with my add. So anytime you see the error, just check where the error is coming from. So you can see that I did not separate the string from the variable. So I need the comma to just separate them. Okay, so you go there, that is the add. So here, you need to just do that and test our code again. So you can see that again, subtraction 2, I needed to separate that. So line 16, line 16, okay, so I have subtract and line 16, so I still have to subtract again.
Without the separation.
I think the subtract, I've already done it. That is line 6 is for subtract. So I think I've just duplicate that code, so I can just take it from there. So let's delete that. So now you can see we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, module, and the floor. So now you can see here I have 20 being our module, and then the 0 being our floor division. And I hope you know the reason why we have the 20 being that, right? Because
Yeah.
the number that was 20, so 40 cannot share 20 items. So definitely our remainder will still be 20. Okay, and then the floor divisions where, right, we are looking at the integer part. So 0 will be the, because you get 0.5. So of course the 0 will be our floor division. Okay, so that is what we, then let's look at the type function. So the type function is where the type convention is where we change from one data type to another. So for instance, we can come here and then we have one data type, let's say number, sorry, number underscore. So I have a data type like 4.0. Okay. So now to change 4.0 to integer, we'll just print this. And then we use our type function. So what type function that we have to use to just convert one data type to another will be what? Will be this. So now let me actually change. So now this is a float. I'm changing this one to integer. So I could make maybe a number underscore int. Okay, and then I'll change this one with what? Int, sorry, which I believe you remember this. So int number underscore 3. So now I've changed this one to integer. So now I could print that. So the output should be just integer. So that will be, let me put my description here. So have to number, let's go. Okay. So that's my integer. And then the same code, we can just duplicate the same code. So now here, the same line, I want to change the integer 2 to float. So if I want to change the integer 2 to float, you already know that this one will be what? Integer, right? Then
Yeah.
integer. So I can change that one to float by just coming here and then see that number underscore float. Okay, and then I'll assign it to float, then come in and do number underscore 8. Okay, so now I could print float. So here, let me give you a description and see float and do number underscore float. Okay. Then we can also convert from integer. So a number integer. So let's see string string number. So string number will be maybe 4 or in quotes But now we know that anything in quotes is a string. Okay, so I have my string. So convert this one to integer. Okay, so to do that, I can just do it straightforward. Okay, so I'll do the print here and then type in the integer value here. So you can see int, and then I'll type my str underscore number. Okay, I hope it's clear. So this one will convert this one to an integer. So I can put the description here and say string to integer. Okay, and then we can do the same again by converting it to a float. So just repeat this line. A string to float and change here to float. Okay, so now here I've been able to convert from string to other integer like the integer or a float. So once we run this code, that will show that the number that we have here. Okay, so it's saying number 23. Number 23. So print the spelling here is wrong. Okay. Okay, and then name error number is not defined. That is number 23. Okay, so that is number underscore int. So that changed the value that we get to integer and then a float. Always clear. And then when you come to the power,
Very clear.
now when you come to the power side, so we have power and roots. So what it means is that we can do a square root and a cube of a number. So for instance, I could give a number like a simple number because what I gave here was, let's see, okay, we have a simple number here, which is, but then I didn't assign this one to a float. So let me give a simple number for the power. So let's give some kind of comment here. Say power. Power and roots. Okay, so a simple number that will give here number underscore 4, and then I will assign it to, let's say, 3. Okay, let's give 9. Okay, so now if I want to get the power of something, now power means that raised to the power, let's say something, so maybe I want 9 raised to the power 2. Okay, so to do that in Python, so we could do that and see this one, number star star 2 simply means that the number here raised to the power 2. Okay, so which means that number raised to the power 2. So when we run this code, that should give us 81. Okay, so raised to the power, we use the 2 star star. The 2 star star means then the power that you want to raise to. So if maybe okay, so the power is 2. So if you want to make this one raise the power 3, just change this one to 3 and then you run. So that should give you raised to the power 3. If it's raised to the power 1, any number raised to the power 1 is there. It's the same number. So of course you should get the same number. Okay, so that is the power. Now let's look at the roots. Now the roots simply means we have, for now we are doing the basics. Okay, so in mathematics, if I want maybe 9 root 9, it will be star star 0.5. If you do remember your maths, you get that. Okay, so what it means is that it's going to actually give us the result. But because what I just did here, because I'm running the code, so it just ran it, so it cleared what I just did now. Okay, so what that we needed to do here is to now come here, the same number here. So I want the roots of that number. So I could do print and then see, let me give a comment and say roots. So what am I rooting? So I have number star star 0.5. Okay, so let's also comment here and see. Power. Okay, so the number underscore 4. So that should give us 3. Okay, so that should give us 3. So half square, that's what it means. So half square will definitely be the power. That is, the half square is the root. So if maybe you've done your in the, what do you call, mathematics, you've done indices before, you remember this. So half square, all these things. So in your indices will give you the answer to this. So but then in Python, when you get star star half square will give you the root of the number. So that is what it means. Okay, so now here will give us the root. So if you change here to any number, let's say 4, that should be 2. Okay, so that is how you can do your roots and then the power in Python. That's the basics. for now. It's not all. We have other way you could do, but for the basics, this is how you do it. Okay. So now we understand this. You can also use the power. So instead of me doing star star, I could use the power function to do that. Okay. So here I can come here and print this. And this case, I'm using the power function. So here I will type power. Then inside power, I have my number that I want, which is number underscore 4. Then the power that I want to raise to, so I want to raise to the power of 2. So when you run this code, you could see that here we gotten 16. Okay, which means that 4 raised to the power 2 will definitely give us what? 16, because we use 4. So 4 raised to the power 2 will definitely give us 16. If I change here to also 4 raised to the power 2, it should be the same. Okay, so you can see 16, 16. So you can use the power function or this just for the power. Okay, so that ends us to the power. Okay, so now we look at the rounding. So now we can also check the decimal part of a number. So for instance, if I divide a number, let's see, so I have number underscore 5, and then I'll assign it, let's see, 5. Okay, so if I come here and then see print, and I put in number underscore 5 divided by number underscore 4. So this should give me some value. So you can see that I have 1.25. Okay, maybe I want it to be maybe 1.3, or let's say only one decimal place. Okay, so in that case, we could use the run function to do that. So all this one will be what we are dividing the number with. So I could place this one in run, and then here, if I place this one in run, and all these ones are in run, okay, these ones are just one part of it. Okay, just want us to get the notice of this. So inside the run, I can have comma here, and then that is the power that you want to use. So if maybe I say you should run it to one decimal place, that should be 1. So now you will see that it came as what? 1.2. Okay, it came as 1.2 instead of that. So here, if I come here and I change it to 2, because that's the divisible sign. If I assign this to a variable, that will be the variable that will be here, and then this one will come. Okay, so you can see here we have 1.25. Okay, so that is you stated that it should be one decimal. So of course it's going to be one decimal place. Okay, so that is the round. That is the round that we have here. Okay, so you can run a digit if maybe, for instance, let's divide here. Let me change this one by, let's say, 13. 13, and then run this code again. You could see that I have 3.38. Okay, now you can see the roots. The roots that came, I have 3.6. If you could see here, 3 point what 605, a lot. So maybe we want to reduce this one to 3 decimal place. Maybe we want to get it to 6.0605. Okay, that is for the roots part. How we get it?
I get you. I get you. I
Yeah,
get you. I get you.
yeah. So now we have to come down and then change that part. Okay, change that part to that. So I have to come here and then come to this side and do run. Okay, and place all this one in. Okay, and come here and change this part to let's say 3 decimal place and run this. So that's going to reduce the number. So now you can see that I have 0.306. Okay, so that is the run. Okay, so that you reduce the number of decimal places. Okay, these are the basics that we need to know. And the next one is the floor division. Now here you see mark.floor. So mark.floor means that what that we are getting, we want to only keep what the decimal parts. Okay, so here is going to floor is also going to keep only the integer. But before we could use this one, first thing we need to import math function. So now here, if I want to, you can see here math dot. For now, just I will explain that later on. Okay, so all that you needed to do is to come down here and then import the math function. So you could do that. Just come here and say import math. Okay, so now that I've import math here, I could add that line to the code by adding print. Okay, so I'm going to keep the same this code. I'm going to keep this code. Okay, by this time we will take away the floor division. So now I'm introduce another element, which is what the mass. So now here should be mass dot floor. So mass dot floor here, and then you place all this one inside the mass dot floor. Okay, so mass dot floor means that when you run this code, sorry, I It's having this thing itself. So now math.floor, it just take one. If we see that it throw an error here, it take one exactly argument. Because I copied from the old one, I should have removed that. So now I guess now going to take all this one that when we run this code, now you will see that it's going to just take all these ones. Then you know that it just take what? Just the the integer part. Okay, so it's the same thing, but just take the integer part. So the floor function only keep the integer part and forget about the decimal. Okay, it's the same as you using this one. When we use the floor division, you realize that it's also, but that was division. But this is assuming that you are calculating for something, not really division. But at the same time, you had a decimal point, but you don't need the decimal point. You want to do away with the decimal, and then you could use the floor. Okay, so the floor function will actually keep the integer part and then truncate the decimal part. So that is the floor. But before you do that, you need to import what? Your mass model. Don't worry about the imports. When you move further, you will understand it. For now, just keep it import just to get your floor function. So now in the same way, we could do math.ceil. So ceil here also just run the decimal part into some holes. So if the same code here, I'll copy the same line. So I'll change this one to floor function. Okay. And then we move on to this side. But here we are not going to use, we are going to use the ceil. Okay, so what that we will do here is that we want to just take, now instead of the decimal part that is coming there, we want to use this one to just run the decimal part to the nearest whole number. That's what it means. So it's going to run it to the nearest whole number. Okay, so that is what this one actually means. So now if you see here, we had 4. So instead of maybe 3.6 something, we run it to the nearest whole number, which will be 4. That's what it means. So that's what the so means. So it will run it to the nearest whole number, which will give us 4. So depending on exactly what you are doing, if you needed to run that, then we move on to absolute. Now, absolute function, the ABS is absolute. So what absolute means that absolute of number of a negative will give us a positive. That's what it means. So absolute value in mathematics, I hope you understand the absolute value of a number will give you, if it's a positive, it's going to give you negative. If it's negative, it's going to give you positive. That's what. So let's see, absolute number always need to think in terms of positive. So for instance, if I have absolute number, let's say number underscore 6, and then I have negative, let's say 6, and then I want the absolute number of that. So that is going to be, so that is what's going to be the positive aspect of it. So here ABS Then I have my number, which is number underscore 6. And this should give me uh,
Where you assign the number, I think you,
I
yeah,
didn't add
the R, yeah.
I didn't, yeah, thank you. So now we could run it again. So now you can see that I have the absolute number should be 6. Okay, so just to find the absolute of positive and negative number using the absolute. So that is what it simply means. Okay, so once you place in there, it's going to give you the absolute number of them. So these are the basics for arithmetic. So for the basic of Python, at least for number type, you should be able to do this simple calculation. Okay, I hope it's clear.
Very clear.
Okay, so now let's focus on the other side, which is the string, because that's where last time we left. Okay, so I'll open that part. Okay, so now move on to the string. So when it comes to strings, these are the basics of what I want you to get. So now with the basics of strings, we look at create a string and print it. Okay, so you need to find a string, which we've done that. Then we also need to understand the indexing and the slicing. So for instance, we could access the first, middle, and then the last of a string. Okay, we can also slide a string to extract a specific part, let's say 5 characters, or maybe the last 3 characters. Okay, and then we can also do concatenation, which assists for a string. To do a concatenation, we use the plus sign here for concatenation, or join, this one for concatenation. So when you get the plus in arithmetic, that will add. But when it comes to using the same part for a string, it join. So it's going to join them. So that is the plus sign there. Then we can also look at the string case conversion. So we can convert a string from, maybe if uppercase, the lowercase, the title case, we can do. And then we can check for membership. So to check for a membership, to check if a substring exists in a string, or to count the occurrence of a string. Okay, so these are the basics when it comes to string. Okay, but for now, I think we've done this one. For first one, I've done that with you, right?
Yes.
This one, the
Second,
length,
we
we've
have
done
done.
the length,
Yes.
we've done indexing, we've done the slicing. Okay, and I think concatenation that we did not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we did not. So let's look at that. Okay, so first let me minimize my screen. Okay. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see the screen.
Okay, so now let's look at the first one, string basics. So I could have my string basic and say welcome, and then I will give it welcome to Python class. Okay, so this actually creates a string. Okay, so now I can print this one out and say welcome. So this will print this one out. You will see here, I'll have my welcome to Python class. Now I can find the length of this. So to get the length of this, let's see, to get the length, of that, I could just come here and say print. Let me describe this length, and then I'll use my length function, place my value in the welcome. So this should give me the length of the string. So you could see here, oh sorry, so you could see here we have this, which is 23. Okay, now let's go down there and see here. So we can find the length. Now we can do the indexing. So to check the index and slicing. Okay, so we already know what index simply means. So if I want to look for index of the first letter, that should give me print, that should give me print, let's see, index. So we use the variable name, which is welcome, and then you have your open and square bracket, and you place your index. So we want the first one that starts with index 0. So that should give me that. Okay, so once I run this code, you see that I have W. So that will give me that. Okay. Now, if I want to access the first letter, that is the first letter here, which is maybe this, or maybe I want to access the first name or the middle or the last name. That will depend. For instance, if I just want to do something like this, so that would depend on exactly what I really want to access. Okay, so you have to always take note of this. Okay, So now if I want to access welcome, that means that I want to do the slice. So now here, see the access the first letter or the middle or the last. Okay, so the last will be what? What will be the last? That is the X, right?
Yes.
The last will be the X. Okay, so if I want to access, so the first one I've done that already. So the last will be the X. So if I want to access the X, I can just copy this line again. So let's keep like this one is the first index. So maybe first letter. Let's put this one. Let me make this one first letter. Okay, so the next one will be the same thing. But this one, we want the last letter. So with the last letter, from last class, you realize that we see that if I want to access the last, I can use what? I can either use the negative index like this. -1 should give me the last letter, which is the, sorry, I didn't put in the value. Okay, so -1, which should give me the last letter, which is the S. What other way do you remember? What other way do you remember?
Is the length of the
Yeah,
of the value of welcome -1.
-1. So you could also do the length, which is the length of this one. Sorry, yeah, the length here, which is welcome. Okay, -1. Okay, so the length -1 should also give us the same thing. Oh, wow. Okay, so the length -1, okay, that should also give us that. Okay, so let's look at it. So this is the length, which is this -1. So this should also give us the same thing. Okay, so you can see that we have the S. Okay, so that is the length -1. So now another point here is the middle. So now you can see here, welcome to Python class. We want the middle item. Okay, so to get the middle, let's paste the same thing here. So now here is the middle. So middle letter will still be our length. So we can just copy this one here. And then paste it here. Okay. I hope you get this. So what that we want to do here is that we want to get a middle item. Okay. So that is the essence of using the floor division. So for instance, if I have this one here, let's say I have this one here, my name, let's say length of kin. So length of Kingsley, okay, will give me, let me see, so length of Kingsley will give me this. You could see here, sorry, I need to put it in quotes. So length of Kingsley will give me, so if I call length, that should give me 8. So if I want the middle letter, the middle letter should be somewhere where 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could do this one, okay, which is the length that is going to give me this.
And quick question: why didn't you start the count from 0?
Is that what? No, I'm not counting. I'm counting the number of characters that I have here, which I know is 8. Not necessarily dealing with index.
Okay, I get
No,
you.
I'm not dealing with index. I'm not dealing with index because we are counting the length. The length will give you the number of characters we have, not necessarily the index. How we get it?
I get you.
Yeah. So now here, I want to get a middle item. So remember our floor division, right? So if I use my floor division like this, actually this will give us the what exactly that we are looking for. Okay. I hope you still remember our floor division, what we use. Hello.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you
Yes, I.
remember
Yes,
when you have the floor division and you place the floor division within a number, they definitely is going to give you the number of that what we are looking for. So if I put in the floor division of maybe 2, now you can see that it's going to give me this because I want the middle. Middle means that half of it, right? So when I divide it by 2, okay, that should give me the middle. I hope you get it.
I get you.
Yeah, so now we want the middle number of this. So we use our floor division here, divide by 2. That should give us, okay. So now this one is going to be the length which we have here, okay. So I have this one. This is actually going to give me my length, okay. Then the length which will have my floor division 2, that should give me the middle part. Okay, so it's going to divide it into 2 and give me the middle part. So now you can see that I have P. So it means that P here is the middle. Okay, is the middle because that is the middle character that you will get from it. In the same way, what I just did for you, if you check my name and then now you place it in there, it's going to give you the middle. So now you see one instances where the floor division can be applied, right? Yeah, I hope it's clear.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so now we've gotten our middle letter, which is P. Now, here we look at the next part is we want to have our first 5 characters. So the first 5 characters that will be for the using the column. Okay, that will be using the column. So I could also do the same thing here. But this time we want the first 5 characters. So can you help me? If I want my first 5 characters. Now we'll be able to pick the first, the middle, and all those things. So now I want the first 5. So here inside of this will actually give me this. So if I place, that is going to be the slice, right? Because if you want the first 5, definitely we are going to use the slice. Okay, so if I have here, this will start from 0 and then end at what? Where?
The 6.
6.
Yes.
Are you 6 or 5?
6, because it will start count from 0.
So if you start counting
0, so that it
what?
ends on the 5th number.
No, if you make it 6 and it's counting from 0, then you can see here, is it the first 5 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because you are counting from 0. So in the 0, 1, because it should be 5, right? If you are going to use negative index, that is different. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so that should give us our first 5. Okay, so now you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our first 5 characters. Now here we want our last 3 characters. So the last 3 characters, that will be, how will we get that?
The last 3.
Yes.
Last 3.
So last 3. So the last 3 will be what? Will be, if I start from -1, okay. If I start from -1, how is it going to be? The last 3. The last 3. -1, -3. Can you solve it?
It should give us error. Or?
It should give us error. Why?
Because at the last lesson
Why?
you said we can't, because it should start and end there. That is what the slicing is. Yes, start from -1 and end at -3.
Okay, so what will be the procedure here? So if so now will be -3. If I start from -3, where will we end? So I will make
Is it 0?
no, so you could leave here empty like this. Okay, so you know that you are starting from 0, but you ask yourself that what came here is what? ASS. That is the last 3. So you can see here, welcome to Python class. So you can see here ASS, because this is -1, -2, -3. So you start from -3, then move to -2. Then, because if you make -1 here, it's going to stop at -1. It means that you are going to get the last x, and we don't want that. So we leave everything empty. So Python will give us whatever that is there. I hope it's clear. Hello.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So now that will give us the 3. That will give us the last 3 characters. Okay, so this is the slides. This is the basic. But last class I did show you the negative and all those things, indices and then everything. We did keeper, reverse and everything. But at least you should be able to go through the video and get the understanding of that. Then we look at the concatenation. So I'm saying that concatenation simply means what? Joining. Okay, so you can join two strings together, not necessarily add. So for instance, if I have a number here, let's say number 1, and then I assign it to 3, but this time 3 as in this, and then I have number underscore 2, okay, and then I also assign it to this, which is 2. Okay, so now when I come here and I say print, now we use this sign for concatenation, the plus sign. When you use the plus sign for a string, it's not going to add, okay, it's going to join the string. So now if I come here and say number underscore 1 plus number underscore 2, okay, so what it means is that I'm just going to join the 2 letters. Okay, so you can see that I have what? 3 2. So 3 2 here tells me that I've added my 3 and then my 2 just join them. Okay, so we could have the same idea with this. So I can do something like first underscore name. Okay, and then I'll assign it to a string called Kingsley. And then I'll do last underscore name. And then I'll assign it to a string called NG. Okay, so now if I want to join the 2, I could do like full underscore name. And then I'll come here and say first underscore name. Okay, concatenate last underscore name. Okay, so you could then do print full name, full underscore name. So here should give us the full name. Okay, so you see here I have Kingsley AJ, but you see there's no space. So to create a space, I need to create an empty string. So I can add an empty string here, like this, empty string here, and then concatenate that. So that is going to create a space between that. Okay, so now if I run this code again, then you will see that Kingsley was AJ. Okay, so this is concatenate. This is what joining. Okay, by using the concatenation sign, that is the plus operator. And then we can also do the same thing using the join. So here, let me qualify this one and say plus operator. Okay, so here is strictly from the plus operator. Okay, now let's see that we want to use the join. Oh, sorry. Let's see that we want to use the join function to actually do the same thing. So if I'm going to use the join function to do the same thing, that should be